Mark. So good afternoon or good morning or good evening, depending on where you're joining us from today. We are so excited to have you for our latest global webinar, highlighting our 2020 International Economic Report. My name is Casey Angel. I'm the Vice President of Policy and Engagement for the Raleigh Regional Association of Realtors. Today, you're going to be hearing from our keynote speaker and research economist from the National Association of Realtors. This partnership was created out of common goals, aspirations, and a true understanding of the global nature of our industry and our community. Partnerships like these deepen the ties that we have with our colleagues and friends literally from around the world. Collaboration, ingenuity, and inspiration have all been hallmarks of the global programming here at the Raleigh Regional Association of Realtors. Throughout an unprecedented 2020, the dedication to international real estate has never been more apparent. Partnerships with economic development groups, commercial real estate entities, government officials, and experts spanning the field have helped our realtor members stay connected, innovative, and productive. For our efforts throughout this year, we are proud to announce that our association has earned the Platinum Award from NAR Global for the third year in a row, and a special distinction as the 2020 Ambassador Association of the Year for our work with NAR India and the continued value brought to United States and Indian realtors. From classes, networking, and awards to meetings about the inner workings of global real estate, all of these worldwide resources would not be possible if it weren't for our amazing global advisory group and sponsors. A very, very special thank you goes out to our 2020 Global Advisory Chair, Matt Vance, Vice Chair, Mark Parker, and Global Ambassadors, Brett Bushnell, Kojo Kuso, and Scotty Hundley, along with the executive team here in Raleigh, led by President Louis Grubbs, Brett Bushnell, Leslie Williams, and Renee Smith, along with our fantastic CEO, Andrew Sims. I cannot thank this amazing team enough for their support and expertise throughout the years leading up to 2020. That kind of foundational building has enabled success for years to come. Unfortunately, today, our year-long sponsor and gold sponsor, an amazing friend to the Global Advisory Group, Alan Fluke of KB Homes, could not be with us, but I wanted to say thank you for such a deep investment. He has been on with us for so many numerous webinars throughout this year. Like I said, he's a great friend and sponsor. Without him, these kind of webinars would not be possible. Now on to our keynote speaker for today. Our keynote speaker today, Gay Cororaton, is a senior economist and director of housing and commercial research at the National Association of Realtors. She manages the production of NAR's housing statistics on existing home sales, prices, affordability, and inventory, conducts NAR's residential, commercial, and international market research and surveys, spoiler alert, that's why she's here today, and analyzes economic, demographic, and local conditions that affect homeownership and the outlook for residential and commercial property markets. Gay has a Master's of Science in Statistical Science from George Mason University, a bachelor's and master's in economics from the University of the Philippines, and a certified business economist designation from the National Association for Business Economics. Just as a note, as we start off here, you'll see at the bottom of your screen, we have a question and answer section. We're going to be going over that Q&A section after Gay's presentation, so please feel free to utilize if something comes up. We are so excited to have a great friend, a great colleague of mine and the association here today. Gay, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Casey. Casey and I have been working together for the past 4 years now, producing the Raleigh Regional Association of Realtors International report. But this is my first time to see Casey, so hey, and congratulations to RRAR for that, Global Ambassador Award. When I read that, I was like, yes, yes. All our work with RRAR is, just bearing fruit. So thank you so much, Casey, for inviting me. Always happy to give a presentation and see you and share the information with the RRAR members. You always have that special feeling for the association you work with, right? So with that, let me share my screen and start with the presentation that I have. Oops. Okay, there it is. Okay, so for this morning, I'll be sharing with you the results of the international survey we had for all U.S. buyers, and also specifically highlight the findings from the RRAR international survey. But let's first put in context the results. I want to give a balanced view of the results. So here's the context. So as we know, the world economy was hit by the pandemic, and that just caused a global economic slowdown, hitting all countries, globally, Latin America, China, India, which are, as I'll show later, major clients of RRAR, and also Mexico. That had impacted, of course, international foreign buyers. Conditions in their economy affect their ability to purchase property in the US, not just the conditions in the US per se. So it's a little bit different with international buyers, right? Domestic buyers, you're affected only by US conditions, but international buyers, they're affected by what's happening in their economy. If incomes are growing there, jobs are growing there, their ability to purchase a property is growing, what's happening to exchange rate, but also what's happening in the US. How are prices in the US? How is inventory moving in the US? Can they even afford to buy a property in the US? So that's the kind of considerations that international buyers have to deal with. So globally, as I said, the pandemic created a global slowdown, and unfortunately also those travel bans put in place by countries, and also the United States has decimated tourist arrivals for now. So typically we see about 8 million, I had not realized this, 8 million travelers either on just simply pleasure visas, business visas, traveling to the US, but we're now just about 600,000, Of course, we see that little improvement there, which is good. We're seeing a recovery there, but lately we've seen again a dip. But it's understandable. There's a travel ban. We want to control the spread of the pandemic, so it's an exogenous shock. And once we have the pandemic under control, of course now Britain has already started vaccinating. The US is going to start doing that in 2021. So things will surely pick up, So tourism has been picking up. The US is a great place to visit. So many states, Raleigh, the Raleigh area is certainly a good destination. So that will pick up. It's an exogenous, temporary, short-term shock. And then in terms of employment, same thing too. So we've seen that unemployment drop in the last quarter. But we're seeing now a recovery. So April and May were really the months where employment dropped, but that is coming back up. We're not there yet, though, as you can see that for Raleigh, all the major metro areas in North Carolina, Raleigh, Durham, Charlotte, employment as of October is still about 8%, 7 to 8% below compared to a year ago. But that's an improvement from about the 13% drop we saw in the first quarter. So things are picking up, it's just that we're trying to control the pandemic and that's what it is. I'm more positive about it. I think it's a short-term exogenous shock, but as you can see, before the pandemic, the North Carolina metro areas were growing spectacularly, around near 5%. So this is a short-term exogenous shock. In the U.S. market overall, of course, while unemployment has increased, prices are going up because there's a lack of supply. Home buying demand is very strong, and that's thanks to the low mortgage rates. We've never seen mortgage rates this low, trending below 3% since June. And that has just fueled this demand for housing. And nationally, existing home sales prices are up 15%. So, I mean, if you look at also at Raleigh and the major metro areas, prices are up there too, I think by about 10%. And what's happening is people are moving from the more expensive metro areas into the less expensive metro areas and the suburbs. And so you're creating that sort of price equalization, right? Prices are rising less fast here, and then they're rising faster in this other metro areas. But the housing market has had a good recovery, one of the strongest legs of the economy, apart from e-commerce and the tech, professional and tech services area, which Raleigh, hosts many workers. A great, I think I'll show you data later on that shows that I think 10% of Raleigh's workforce is in tech. So that's benefiting from all this tech-related economy, shift into tech-related online economy that we're seeing. Just looking at last year or during the coverage of the period that we were considering when we were doing the Raleigh International Survey, we've also seen a stronger dollar. And that stronger dollar has also made prices more expensive for foreign buyers. So properties are rising because of lack of supply. And then you're adding in the stronger dollar. So prices are becoming less affordable. So that's why you need to see incomes rise in those other countries also, right? For them to be able to afford a property here. But unfortunately, for example, we see that the Chinese economy has slowed down. Indian economy is doing great though. But the dollar, US dollar exchange rate is having an impact on foreign buyers. So when we look at foreign buyers, and a lot of you, I hope, took the survey or got the survey, we're really talking of two types of foreign buyers. The type A, what we call the type A, are your foreign buyers who are non-US citizens. That's why they're foreign buyer, they're non-US citizens, but they live abroad, and they're buying property in the US for vacation or for short stay. The second type of buyer is your type B buyer. So they're still non-US citizens. They could be green card holders, but we're putting here a 2-year kind of like window frame within which they bought the home. So if you're a green card holder and you've been in the US for 10 years and you just bought the home now, we're not going to count you as a foreign buyer. So the survey says we're counting you if you bought a property in the past within the past 2 years. So we're sort of trying to align that somewhat with the residency test of the immigration services. And then also you could already be in the US, either you're a diplomat, you are working here, you are a student here, so you're residing in the US, but you're not a non-US citizen and you purchased a property. So you are counted as part of the type B. So what is happening nationally? So given all those factors that I had mentioned, the slowdown actually, I sort of missed a slide and for some reason I didn't see it, but I was going to say that even before the pandemic, we had seen a slowdown in the number of permanent resident visas issued. So since 2017, visa issuances for permanent residents have declined. And so that has also impacted the number of your type B buyers. So here we can see that since 2018, and also with the slowdown of the Chinese economy, since 2018, the foreign buyer purchases of property in the United States has declined from 153 billion to 74 billion. So not, I guess, not a good heartening news, but that's related, as I said, to a decline in permanent residents, to the slowdown in the Chinese economy. And that may be related also to the visa policies. So I don't want to go into the political aspect too much, but we know, for example, that President Biden has mentioned that they'll have a more open immigration policy, in the sense that they'll probably be increasing the number of visas and the number of permanent residents that they'll approve, and also the worker visas, given that we have given that we have a tight market right now for certain services like tech services, right? Those are in demand right now, but it will probably be a more open visa policy compared to what we've seen in the past years when the concern was trying to secure the borders. So it's a little bit of a policy shift, so that may increase the flow of non-immigrant residents to the US. Dollar volumes with what's happening in China, the slowdown in the Chinese economy, and the capital outflows that they've experienced. So what they wanted to do was they've tightened the monitoring of capital outflows, or the money going out of China. So each person is allowed $50,000. So they've tightened on that. And I think that's the reason why from 2017 to 2018 and 19, the Chinese investments have really just gone down from about 30 billion to just 11.5 billion. Just about a third, So the Indian purchases about 18 to 19 billion. That's also gone down, but we did see that increase a bit in 2020. And then the other groups of investors would be the Mexican investors. There was also a slight pickup there, but that's also down from 2017. And the Canadian investors also down. So that's a story. But again, it's very much dependent, as I said, on what's happening globally and the policies that are in the United States. But and certainly with the shift in the administration, for sure we'll see changes. Where is the destination of foreign buyers? Well, it's still Florida, the #1 destination, which takes in about 1 in 5 foreign buyers purchasing property in the US, followed by California, Texas, New York, and then North Carolina. North Carolina has typically taken about 3% of foreign buyers. But of course, these are the bigger states. So that's why they're getting more foreign buyers. But let me now go to one more slide about that. So we can see here that the Chinese buyers, a third of them go to California, but North Carolina ranks #3 in terms of the state where they're going, right? And then the Asian Indian buyers. So your as Casey had mentioned, your partner country is India. So so that's why I guess we're seeing that now. 5% of the Asian Indian buyers go to North Carolina. The other competitors would be California, New Jersey, Texas, and the other states listed here. And then the Mexican buyers from Mexico, Carolina is also there, about 3%. But their #1 destination would be Texas, and then followed by Florida. So with that, let me now go to the main results of the 2020 survey that we conducted with Casey, the RRAR, and let's see what we have. So as I said, we've been working with RRAR since 2017. So it's about $1 billion a year, but we've seen also that same slowdown in 2019 and 2020. So now we're looking at just nearly $400 million in 2020. The kind of buyer that you're having is really the type B buyer. So in the Raleigh region, at least for 2020, right? So about 69% of the foreign buyers already live in Raleigh, right? Now, nationally, that's about 61%. So your buyers are already here. So they could be your Asian buyers who may have come to the Research Triangle or the Raleigh area, who are here in the US on a work visa, and they're purchasing property. You know, we know that tech workers are one of the most one of the highest average wages. So they could be purchasing property already, or you have great universities in North Carolina. They could be students and their parents are purchasing property for them. So essentially, that about 2/3 of the buyers are already here, and about 1/3 are people, are foreign buyers who live abroad. Where are those key buyers? They are from China, 1/3. Where is India here? Yeah. So I should have put India. I think it was about 8%. Then the United Kingdom, and then Mexico. But by region, yeah, so there it is, right? So Asia was 38%, and that was 31% China. And I'm sorry, Casey, I don't know why that didn't come out here, but about 7 to 8% is from India. And then 19% is from Europe. So 6% is UK, and then you have these buyers from France, Italy, Ireland. And then in the Latin American region, you have 19%, but 13% of that is Mexico. You got Brazil, and I didn't really see the others here, but this is what the survey said. So please, when you get the survey, do respond. You know, certainly I think there are other buyers. We may not just have captured them in this survey. So that's why it's very important that when you get that survey, you know, please respond. Where are they going? Where are they buying property? So 65% are buying in Wake, and then 19% in the Durham area. And this was interesting to me, Harnett. And so Casey and I were having a conversation. So he was saying that, yes, you know, people are now moving into these other less expensive areas. The others were in other North Carolina counties. And then you had 4% who were buying out of state. So we looked at all the counties. I think we had a list, and in the Q&A, I can go back and see what was that in the list. But we had other counties in the Raleigh area, but these are mostly this is the top 3 counties. And how are foreign buyers intending to use the residential property? Well, recall that I said that most foreign buyers already live here. And so as you can see, you know, the bulk of them are really purchasing property for primary residence. They're going to live there, you know, and so only 19%, and these are probably your type A buyers, right? They're purchasing property either to rent out. Sorry, so this is the type B buyers. They're purchasing property to live here. And then these are your type A buyers. They're purchasing property for residential, 19%. To rent out as a vacation home, or to do both. Now the student use here would be your 4%. For sure they'll be living here, right? So this will also be your type A buyers. Some of them were other reasons. I guess I should have broken down that. I'll try to do that in the next report, because I see now that that's a big one. But this is, so if you have a foreign buyer, you know, so you'd expect that they probably will be looking for a property to use as a primary residence. And because of that, you know, they're also looking for detached single family homes. So that's why sometimes there's a concern that are foreign buyers competing with domestic buyers, especially with supply so tight, right? So, and sometimes you hear that, especially in the West Coast, like, hey, foreign buyers are, you know, competing with our domestic buyers, they're pushing up prices. But, you know, recall that I said that you have about 400 million foreign buyers. So they're not really, I would say, competing. So right now they're about 4% of the market, and each one serves a market niche, you know. So that's what it is. Your realtors, right? You have a buyer, somebody lives here, then, you know, that person who lives in the United States has a need for a home. So, you know, you serve the needs of that client of yours. but 73% of those buyers would be looking to buy detached single-family homes. So what is the price? So yes, so yeah, we do see that the median price of foreign buyers tends to be a little bit above the median price of the domestic buyer. But here, for some reason in 2019, that didn't happen. So I guess it depends on the mix of buyers. But typically, yes, you would see that the foreign buyer is purchasing a property that's more on the higher end compared to your other buyers. But as I said, a lot of your foreign buyers, you got China and India, and those, for example, the Asian Indian. I don't want to typecast, but we do know that a lot of Indians work in the tech sector, and we also know that the tech sector is an industry that has good wages compared to other types of industries like, say, construction or retail or leisure. So it just depends on the kind of buyer that you have, right? So so that's why you're seeing higher prices of foreign higher median prices on the properties that foreign buyers are purchasing. And about so this is the distribution up to 250K, so 15%. And there's been a significant drop here. And let me see what happened here. Now that I'm looking at this data, it's a little bit odd because, oh yeah, so there's been a drop there. Anyway, it's 15% up to 250K, but about half, more than half, are purchasing in the 250 to 500 price range. And as I said, the median was around 300, 13,000 plus, which I showed in the other slide. Are they paying cash? You often hear that, hey, foreign buyers love to pay with cash. Again, let's go back. Who is the rally foreign buyer? They're already living here, working here. And because of that, they're able to obtain US mortgage financing. They're getting they have a social security number here. They're getting wages here. So they're able to obtain mortgage financing. And well, about typically at 2/3, but in 2020, that dropped to 50%. But I'd say that in general, so most foreign buyers in the Raleigh area are obtaining mortgage financing from the US, and that's good with interest rates low now, right? So you may see a decline in your type A buyers living abroad, but you also see an uptick in your foreign buyers already living here. But of course, it's important, right? How those foreign buyers, as I said, are either coming to the US to work in those great multinational companies that you have in the Raleigh area, in the Research Triangle, or they're coming to the US to study, or just coming here for those reasons that they're already living here. So I think in the Raleigh area, that will really be one of the main factors that will drive foreign buyers in the future. So just some of the reasons why a purchase did not push through. They could not obtain financing. This would probably be your type A buyer. They can't move money. This will probably again relate to your type A buyer, especially the Chinese buyers maybe. It's just hard for them to move money from where they're coming from to the US. Some other things like immigration laws, and then 14% could not find property. This relates to the tight housing market conditions and the cost, and then the property taxes. So if you're dealing with a type A buyer who's living abroad, yes, so then you'd have to have experience, bring a little more knowledge to the table about helping them address and cope with these issues now, how to move their money, like things like maybe how much will it cost in terms of the dollars here, how do they wire that money, and then I didn't show it here, but foreign buyers do have to pay the FERPTA tax when they sell their property. So they might be thinking, well, if I'm just renting it out now and then I want to sell it later, what will happen? So you also have to be aware of those issues. So a little bit more work dealing with the type A buyers than your type B buyers who are already living in the US, who are behaving more like your domestic buyers. And I just want to share some global statistics. So same thing, unfortunately, the nationally, and this is not just for the rally market, but nationally, we've got about 90 billion in purchases of commercial property coming from investors from Canada, which will be your continental, and then in other parts of the globe. But that also has shrunk to just about $30 billion as of October. So, this global investments in commercial property, your foreign investors typically made up about 15%. So now they're just down to about 8%. And then by metro area, so Raleigh, Raleigh, Durham, this is how you compare with the other metro areas. But certainly, the research triangle is a good place for commercial investors. Now within this region, you'd have to compete with Charlotte and then the DC suburbs. But I think what's good is, and I just realized I should have shown maybe some prices. Certainly prices are more affordable in the Raleigh Durham area, commercial property prices, compared to, say, if you go to Manhattan, right, or Seattle. Those are very expensive, and when you're purchasing property, so price certainly plays a factor. But right now, so it's about about $1 billion. That's 2 billion. So about less than $500,000. And most areas are also seeing still a decreased purchases of commercial property in the Raleigh area. So as I said, one of the why foreign buyers should purchase, and I'd like to end on a good note. I believe in Raleigh. We always look at what are the top markets, not just for international, but across all buyers, and Raleigh always comes up because it's affordable. Look at San Jose, 1.4 million to purchase a property. San Francisco, San Diego, very high properties. Seattle, even DC, 492,000. But Raleigh, which is as a good tech sector, great multinational companies, great schools, 336,000. It's very affordable. So Raleigh always, I think, comes up as a great market to invest, to buy property, and always an upcoming top market. At least these are where the areas where you have at least 10% of the workforce in tech services. This is really professional and tech services based on Bureau of Labor Statistics data. So you can see that, here it is, right? So the Raleigh Durham area. So the other would be the New York, the Boston area, right? And then what is this? The Connecticut, Hartford. And then I think you even beat the Washington, DC area. But you got a great, strong tech sector there. I think, what is this? Atlanta. Is this Atlanta? Yes. And of course the San Francisco area. But certainly, the tech sector is one of the primary market. It's the major market for the Raleigh area, and certainly, for your Asian Indian buyers. Net international migration in Raleigh and all the metro areas. So that decreased during the Great Recession, came back up. But unfortunately, as I said, starting in 2017, in the past 4 years, we've seen that drop. And this is mainly coming from the decline in permanent residents who are moving to the US. GDP growth forecast, 2021 is certainly going to be better than 2020. So right now, 2020 GDP nationally is about 3% below. So NAR is forecasting 4%, which would put GDP on about the same track as it was prior to the pre-COVID. And I just want to remind everyone, tomorrow we have the NAR webinar. It's a real estate forecast summit. We'll be bringing together experts to talk about the economy, residential, commercial, and the demographic factors driving the market. So here's the page to register. It's free. Just go to NAR, go to the research, and I can't see what that is, but there it is. Go to events, I think, and then it'll get you to this page where you can register. So with that, thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That was fantastic. Such in-depth information. Now that we've got such an expert on here, we're going to definitely utilize that for a little bit of a Q&A session. We've got a couple of them in the chat, some people reaching out to me individually. The first thing that we wanted to ask, because we see so many different economists talk about U-shaped recovery or, V-shaped recovery, and it looks like as far as what NAR is talking about GDP-wise moving into 2021. Can you expand on that and how maybe Raleigh really fits into that role? As you were saying, there's a lot of tech hubs, there's a lot of good paying jobs here. How does that look in relation to a national economic recovery?
Yeah, so right now I think it's a V-shaped. People were saying before it's a W-shaped because they thought that there's going to be a, the resurgence of the pandemic. I mean, it has, but that there was going to be a massive shutdown. Right now, we're not seeing that. We're looking more at a vaccine coming into 2021. So we're looking at a V-shaped recovery. But the important thing is the Fed has said that they will continue to support growth. So we don't see interest rates rising in 2020. They're going to continue to just hover in the 3%, maybe go to about 3.5%, 3.2%, but certainly way below the 4%, 5% level we've seen in past years. So that will continue to make prices affordable. It boosts the housing market, boosts the economies, and how Raleigh plays into that, I think, is we know that San Francisco is very expensive, right? The California market, the San Francisco, San Diego, even Seattle. And we've seen data that shows that people are moving from these expensive areas to the more affordable areas. And if you're a tech worker, so where is it? As I said, Raleigh, 10% of the workforce is in tech. You already had a great, great infrastructure there, companies who are already there. So I think, Raleigh just plays into that recovery period. And, work from home is still evolving. We do see that, about 20% of the people still work from home. That might go down, but if your workforce, some tech companies have announced, right, that their workers can work from home, so they can choose to live anywhere, right? So again, that's one of the factors that will put Raleigh on that top 10 top metros poised for growth in 2021.
Awesome. That's great. Another question that came in is that seeing many of the peaks and a lot of the research that you just talked about were in 2017 and 2018. We're curious to see if that was the case nationwide or if that was something that was unique to the Raleigh-Durham Research Triangle.
I think there was a peak also in let me just go back to see my own slides here. I think, yes, there was a peak also. Well, no, it was more like it peaked nationally. It peaked in 2017. And then from 2017, it started to go down. So I would say that the peak in the 2018 is something that is singular for the Raleigh area. Okay, so we didn't export to that, but something happened in 2018.
People just kept catching wind of the Raleigh-Durham area, I suppose. Yes. Yes. And then another question that came in, while we have a sense of decline from foreign buyers, as you were saying, 2017 was really the peak, then 2018, maybe uniquely to the Raleigh-Durham area, but nationally, we've seen a little bit of a decline in 2018, 2019. Mm-hmm. And now 2020 under a very strange circumstances, obviously with a global pandemic. Do you believe there's any kind of pent-up demand moving forward for possible international buyers or foreign demand in the U.S. market?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, I mean, globally, the economy is expected to move forward in 2021. I think the IMF is forecasting also like a 4 to 5% growth. I think a lot of I think about 100,000 to 150,000 permanent resident applications are stalled, right? So once, because of the pandemic, people can't travel. So if the US opens safely, those immigrants would come here, and then there'll be for part of the market demand.
Yeah, absolutely. And not to get into the geopolitical spectrum
Yes.
of it, but obviously we have a new administration coming in. And so with that begets a lot of change, whether it is, like you were talking about before, a difference in type 1 or, A and B different immigrants that are coming to America and things like that. So that's fantastic. Well, I don't see any more questions in the Q&A, but this was fantastic. This was a wonderful opportunity to be able to wrap up and really wrap up 2020 on a fantastic high note. Gay, thank you again so much for joining us. You have been a great partner over the past 4 years as we conduct these international studies. So thank you, thank you, thank you. For more information about NAR's global efforts, please visit nar.realtor/global. You can find a ton of wonderful realtor and generalized membership benefits there. And then also, for more information about our upcoming webinars and the global efforts of the Raleigh Regional Association of Realtors, visit our website, rrar.com/global. Thank you all for joining us today. Stay safe, stay productive, and we will talk to you very soon. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Casey. Thank you to everyone.